request or to make a donation at area 8435-991215, beginning at 1 a.m. Monday through Friday. Hear it here on KCAA, AM and FM.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. President Biden will meet with congressional leaders tomorrow about the debt ceiling. The U.S. could be unable to pay its bills and default on its debt as soon as June 1st if Congress doesn't act. Republicans are demanding deep spending cuts in exchange for their votes to increase the nation's borrowing limit. A suspect on the terror watch list has been arrested trying to cross the border into San Diego. A suspect from Afghanistan on the FBI's terror watch list was arrested in Otay Mesa Wednesday.
The fact that we have open border, across the entire Mexican-U.S. border, he got caught, but how many have they gotten through? It's sort of like when they say, we caught fentanyl coming across the border, but so much of it also gets through.
San Diego County Supervisor Jim Desmond said the open border policy has been detrimental to the entire country. A report says the FBI never should have launched the Trump-Russia probe during the 2016 election, and the former president is expressing validation. DOJ Special Counsel John Durham's report says the FBI rushed to investigate Trump and ignored evidence that would have exonerated him. In response, Trump told Fox Digital that the former FBI Director James Comey and Democrats need to be held accountable. Taxpayers could soon be able to file their taxes digitally and free of charge directly with the IRS.
The Washington Post reports the agency's been quietly developing its own prototype system that could disrupt the tax prep market. The Inflation Reduction Act set aside $15 million to create a free and direct filing program. The system will reportedly be available to a small group of taxpayers through a pilot program by January. Right now, the IRS works with several companies to provide free e-filing for qualified taxpayers. I'm Lisa Taylor.
A bill banning Florida's public colleges and universities from funding diversity, equity, and inclusion programs will soon become law in the state. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
One of the best ways to build a healthier local economy is by shopping locally. Teamster Advantage is a shop local program started by Teamster Local 1932 that has brought together hundreds of locally owned businesses to provide discounts for residents who make shopping locally their priority. Everything from restaurants like Corky's to fun times at SB Raceway and much, much more. If you're not currently a Teamster and you want access to these local business discounts, contact Jennifer at 909-889-8377, extension 224. Give her a call. That number again is 909-889-8377, extension 224. Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Don't hit the snooze. Wake up in your dream home today. Contact Sam Works, a real estate agent at Century 21 Lois Lauer, giving you fast results and the best service. People are calling 909-800-6006. 909-800-6006. Sam works for you to make your dreams come true. DRE number 02162595.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. on KCAA, now on 1050 a.m., 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM.
Rice Fire Protection reminds listeners that more and more veterans will be returning home over the next few years, and many are local. These heroes have elite military training and valuable professional skills. They also need jobs too. That's why Rice Fire Protection is encouraging all local businesses. Let's make it the year we hire smart and hire vets. That's a message from Rice Fire Protection at 24300 Vera Lane in Moreno Valley. For top quality service at prices you can afford, call 951-243-6677. That's 951-243-6677 for Rice Fire Protection.
And shout out to the sponsors of today's episode. So before we get started, I have a incredible free masterclass that is going on now from my good friends and sponsors of this episode, fixhormones.com. And so it's what every woman needs to know about hormone restoration. How to restore your hormones to end hot flashes, mood swings, hormonal weight gain, and feel like yourself again without ever setting foot in a doctor's office or changing your daily routine. So if this described you at all, this is a masterclass for you, and it is free. So in this 60-minute masterclass, you will learn how to know exactly what's causing you to age rapidly, feel tired, fat, old, or moody, even though your doctor says it's normal for your age and all your tests are coming back normal. You'll also learn the two big reasons many doctors are unwilling to prescribe hormone restoration and what they aren't telling you about your hormones. Next, you're going to learn the huge difference between hormone replacement therapy, HRT, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, BHRT, and natural hormone therapy. And you will also learn how to get a custom hormone balancing prescription to reverse aging, keep weight off, enhance energy, and put an end to perimenopause and menopause symptoms for good. So again, thank you to our sponsors, and if you want to join the free masterclass and claim your spot now, go to fixhormones.com.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we have special guest, Cameron Ashkar. He is a Los Angeles real estate specialist that has an incredible story to share. He was born in the Midwest, received his master's degree in Washington, D.C. in international relations. He speaks multiple languages, traveled the world extensively, and then, while vacationing in India, he had an unexpected experience that changed the course of his life and destiny. Cameron is going to share more about that here today. All right, welcome to the show, Cameron.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. And, this show started based on my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And it's behind me there. There's a picture of the book. And so I love to start out by asking guests to share about a time in their business or personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Well, it's a perfect question because my story really relates to that. I'll go into more of the details of what happened in India, but what I can say about that is I moved to Los Angeles about a year ago. I had been running a real estate brokerage in the Midwest for about 6 years. It was doing really well. But through the chain of events that happened that we'll talk about soon, I moved to LA with my wife and pretty much started fresh again, and didn't know anyone, and had to really kind of recreate myself in a new city, a big city. You know, LA is Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. It's the, top. Everybody who wants to make it, everybody who's ambitious and driven, they come here. So it's been a really incredible transformational experience, and there's a lot I can say about that, about how putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, if it doesn't break you down, it definitely will transform you and recreate you and build you up. So that would be, that's what happened to me when I came to LA. It was totally that.
Beautiful. That's incredible. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about, well, how did you get into real estate with all the traveling? How did that show up in your life?
Well, I'm a real estate baby. My dad is a broker. My mom was in real estate also. They were on a team for a long time at Coldwell Banker.
Okay.
Actually, my dad is an immigrant from Iran, and he came here for petroleum engineering when Iran was still under a different regime. And while he was here, there was a revolution, and he also has his own story of perseverance and having to recreate himself because he came to a new country. He definitely wasn't going back.
Right.
And he was here for petroleum engineering. What happened before, United States had a really great relationship with Iran in the past, and a lot of students were getting funded by the oil companies in Iran to come and study in the United States. And then when they would finish, they had a contract to come work at the refinery that sponsored their education for a while. Well, the refinery that was sponsoring my father got bombed during the Iran-Iraq War. So he obviously lost his funding. So he ended up putting himself through school. I think he was working as a bellboy at a hotel and also cleaning cars for Avis. He met my mom at the hotel. She was like the front desk lady, and he was the bellboy. So they had that's how they met. But then he got into real estate, and he really just worked hard. I remember him telling me how, I asked, like, how did you start doing so well? He couldn't even speak English that well.
Right.
And he said, I kept showing up. I came to the office when everybody was out during the weekends, going to the lake, going vacationing. I was sitting in the office, and it was in the past, before we had all the internet stuff. So people would be calling the real estate company whenever they were looking to buy or sell a house. So he said, I would just be there all the time. Whatever the client wanted, I would give it. If they wanted to do a contract, even if I didn't know how to do a contract, I'd call my broker and I'd just make it happen. And so that inspired me. But it's kind of like being the preacher's son. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do the same thing that your dad did. So I really resisted that for a long time. And, I got into real estate probably about 12 years ago, but I didn't really get serious about it until much later. Like, I would do one deal, and then I would take the money and fly to New York until all my money ran out. And then I'd come back and do another deal. Then I'd go somewhere else, go to India or wherever I could. It was only after I graduated from Washington, D.C. For my master's degree. I was really trying to find work in D.C., but it's a very competitive place there. And a lot of the people who get the jobs, even with master's degrees, they put in a long time of what they called interning at all of these. So it's basically free work.
Oh, no.
And they did, and so anybody who did that usually got the job. Well, I didn't have the time or the interest to do free work after all that time I put into my education. So I wasn't able to get employed in DC. I ended up coming back to the Midwest, a little bit discouraged that I wasn't able to, do that thing that in my mind was such a big achievement in that moment. And I said, well, I always said, if all else fails, I'll just do real estate. So let me do it.
Right.
But I really dedicated myself that time. And, my first month, I was the top salesman in my company. And then within 3 months, I talked to my dad. He had a broker's license. I said, Dad, let's just start our own brokerage. Well, and so that's what we did. And I think within 7 months, I had 13 agents. I was like one of the top salespeople in the city. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. So it's like sometimes the thing that you resist most is the thing that you'll end up loving the most. And that's what it was for me.
Nice. Very good. I love that. Yes.
Thank
And as you know, real estate has also been a big part of my life. So
Yes, I do.
yeah, so that's just something I've always done. Passive income. I have been an investor and then an agent, and I help people
Mhm.
invest. And so I have a blast with that. But passive income beats work any day. And then you can just do what you love.
Oh, yeah.
That's my thing. Work is just overrated. Sorry.
Exactly. You got to do what you love, then it's not work. And that's another great thing about real estate. Once, like with me, I started making a lot of sales and I started making relationships with banks. The next thing you know, I was doing flips. So
Mhm.
there's like a levels to that. So
Right.
for anybody out there who's thinking about real estate, I would suggest like making a trajectory, start doing good, start making sales, but try to work your way up. So like you said, Sheila, so you can start investing, because that's where you start making income without really having to grind all the time. You can
Yes.
really start
Yes.
enjoying your life more,
This is the thing. A lot, if you're a real estate agent listening in, that's one thing I do teach a course for agents on how to invest. A lot of agents make that money, spend the money, make the money. And when you start investing and building passive income, you don't always have to work, or you can easily have a team, do referrals, and have fun. But that passive income will be there when you don't want to do the job anymore. So it really
That's
makes a
right.
big difference. Yes, very important. So now I'd love to hear about the story of this big change, this thing that happened to you in India. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'd love to tell you it's crazy. It's not anything I ever expected. And, as I told you, I was running a real estate brokerage. And for any of you out there who have run a brokerage or a company where employees are depending on you and you have a lot of deadlines, it can be really draining. I was making so much money, but I didn't have that internal happiness of just enjoying it. I didn't have a lot of people around me that I related with. I didn't, I've never been like somebody who wants to go out and, party too hard. Like, I love to have a good time, but anyway, I was a little burnt out. So a friend of mine was like, why don't you come visit me? I'm in Goa, India. It would be a great time. Just come for 2 weeks. You can get away from your company for 2 weeks. I said, you know what? I think I will. It's a good idea. I need a break. So I hopped on a plane with my return ticket for 2 weeks, and I went to Goa, India. And I don't know, I'm sure some of you know about Goa. It's a beautiful coastal place in India. There's an ocean there, great music. It's an international hub. It's kind of like for those of you who know about Tulum in Mexico, it's like an international hub of artists, musicians, and people from all around the world. So I want to draw the picture that this India that I went to wasn't like the India that a lot of us imagine. It was a really cool international place. So needless to say, I was having a great time. I rented a motorcycle. I was driving my motorcycle everywhere, going to music shows at night, getting in better shape on the beach, playing frisbee, just having a great time. So my 2 weeks flew by a little bit too fast. And I said, let me stay another week. What's another week? I got people who can kind of manage for me. I'm doing stuff remotely. It's not a big deal. Let me stay for another week. So the night that my plane left, I went to a music concert, and there was this beautiful Indian girl performing that night. And for me, it was just love at first sight. Like, I'm sure I didn't feel like she was also like that. She was kind of blowing me off, but I was so like, there was something magnetic driving me, connecting me to her. I just wanted to get to know her. And it was a curiosity, a friendship at first. I was just so intrigued by this person. She was so exotic. She was so unique to what I was used to as people that, and I had just come out of a really bad breakup with a girl from who was also a real estate agent in my hometown. So I was kind of looking for love, and we just kept seeing each other everywhere, and we ended up one night on the beach. You know, she had messaged me, hey, if you want to see me, I'm going to be on the beach for another 10 minutes. And, you know, so I dropped whatever I was doing and tried and went towards that place. But, you know, my phone reception went out, so I didn't know where she was. And I just started walking down the beach at night. The moon was shining. It's like something out of a movie. And I don't know where she is, but I just see over on the shore like the moonlight was coming down, and there was a figure just sitting there. And I walked up, and it was her. And I just found her without, you know, knowing where she would be. So I felt like, wow, that was like some, you know, magical thing. And we started talking, and I was telling her, yeah, you know, I'm doing really well with my business, but there's something missing. I want something more to life. And she looked at me and she said, if you stay, I'll stay.
Oh.
And it was like, I think it was a little bit of a joke, or like, you know, it was like a light comment, but I said, okay, I'll stay. And that just grew. We fell in love, and it was around the time before COVID, but for whatever reason, we had originally planned that she would, you know, we spent 2 months together every single day in India. And then we had planned that she would get a visa and just come to the United States back with me, and we'd, you know, get to know each other better there. Well, the visa didn't work out. And by that time we were so in love that I decided I wasn't going to leave this person. It's like when you find love, it's more valuable than anything else, you know, any monetary thing. It's just, for a human being, you know, it's just so special. It's like gives you a sense of purpose. So I wasn't going anywhere, man. I wasn't going to leave her. So I stayed in India, and I ended up staying with her in India for the next 5 years. I didn't go back. So, you know, on one side, wow, it's so beautiful, and it is, but at the same time, you know, my family, the people working with me, and, you know, I had a manager there, so it's not like I just left them to their own devices, but, you know, I was the driving force of the company, definitely. And so to them, they're like, this guy's lost his mind. And maybe I had a little bit, got a little crazy in love. But anyway, that's the choice I made. And I didn't have a work visa. So, you know, I was doing some flips remotely. I was having the people fix the houses up. I wasn't really having to be there. So that's something also, you know, for the listeners, you know, there's opportunities. If you know what you're doing, you don't even have to see the property. You can buy and sell a house in a state where you never even been to, you know, that's possible. I did that from India. But, you know, she's a singer. My wife, now she's my wife.
Now she's your wife.
Well, not at this part of the story, but in this moment in time.
Yes.
So a little bit of a spoiler, but she has been singing since she was 5 years old. So especially when we first met, we really just wanted to do everything together. It was like a little obsessive, you know. So I wasn't making music at the time, but I was really inspired by her. She's a really talented singer, like incredible. So I started dabbling in trying and wanting to make music. So I downloaded some music making software. I started making it, and I don't know if it was just that I was really inspired or I put a lot of time into it, but I came up with really good music. And before you know it, I had put together about 10 songs that she sang on, and then I would do things on as well. And before you knew it, we started performing. And our first show was about, I would say, like 100 people, which is not bad for our first show. And we weren't sure what people were going to think about it. Next show was 250 people. Next show was 500 people. Next show it was 1,000. You know, I think our biggest show, because we grew fast and we started performing all over India.
Mm.
We had about 10,000 people at one of our shows at VH1 Supersonic Music Festival in Pune. So all of a sudden, I'm now this music artist, music producer, and it was just incredible. And you know, and there was a part of me that longed, like, oh, and I don't want to give up my real estate career. It was really promising, but what can I do? I'm here in India, and I always had this idea I would maybe do real estate again someday. But so a little bit of a fast forward. I mean, because we went through so much. You know, the family was not up for it because they were like, who's this American guy trying to come take our daughter? You know, her dad is, and family is very traditional. He's a monk. You know, he grew up in a monastery. Amazing guy. So needless to say, they were a little bit unsure about my intentions and everything. But, you know, in India, if you get married, you're accepted. So we finally got them to accept. We had a beautiful Indian royal wedding. It was incredible. And then we, you know, COVID happened right in the middle of us trying to work out the visa and stuff. So that really was, made it take a lot longer. So fast forward 6 years later, we decide we're going to come to Hollywood to go pursue our music further.
Yeah.
And so we come here, and it was, you know, not what we were expecting, because anybody who from around the world, I'm going to tell you right now, you come to Hollywood thinking they're going to roll out the red carpet. I don't care how talented you are. That is not the nature of the city. It's a grind, it's a hustle, it's a network. You got to be at your A game. This is the NBA of whatever industry you want to get in over here.
And so, COVID changed it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, it really did. Yeah.
Changed everything, you know. For everybody, but for artists especially, because, like, you know, for a long time there was no performances, a lot of things went online, and but at the same time, you know, we started to get shows, meeting great celebrities. So that's also part of it. If you really commit yourself, put it all on the line, and just trust in whatever higher force that you can align to, you're going to have great experiences. And so I decided, hey, you know, why don't I try getting my real estate going in LA again? And so that's what I did. So my point of saying that was like, hey, it's an amazing full circle, because I stopped doing real estate in the Midwest for a while, and now I'm doing it again there too. But because I trusted a journey, and I went on what I really believed in and what I had faith for, I ended up coming to one of the most sought after city in the world. And now I'm real estate professional, meeting and working with high-end clients in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
So it's been an incredible full circle. And
Yes. Yeah, that is incredible. And there's nothing better than the Beverly Hills caravans, for sure.
Right.
I love those. We have had some parties.
Oh, yeah.
It is incredible. Definitely. And so now you're going to still be working in Beverly Hills area or Hollywood. Which area are you working in primarily?
Well, my primary area is definitely Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills, but it just depends on the client, you know. It depends on where the client wants to live. There's beautiful estates all over LA, you know, Calabasas, and you know, even in Sherman Oaks, there's some beautiful properties up in the hills. It's all around. So I think for sellers, pretty much focusing in like Beverly Hills area and the surrounding areas, Hollywood Hills close enough, but for buyers, we'll go wherever you want, you know. Topanga, you want to live in the mountains, we'll go to Topanga. You want to live on more secluded beachside, we'll go to Malibu. Whatever you want. You want more security, you know, we'll go to Thousand Oaks. You tell me.
Yeah. There are so many beautiful places to live in and invest in California, and especially Southern California, definitely. Yeah, one of the
Yeah, and
best.
another great thing of the fact that I came from the Midwest is like for investors, if you want to invest in LA, you need a couple million to really get going. That's just the
Mhm.
reality out here. But in the Midwest, you can get in for 50, 60,000,
Yeah.
in the Midwest. So that's a really like investors have been interested in the fact that I can, for people who have a little bit of a discretionary income, investment income, but not quite enough to start investing in LA, I can give them options in
Mhm.
different regions, like in the Midwest, where and I have all the contacts there too, all the contractors. I know the area really well, so I've been working with some investors in the Midwest as well who are here in LA.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, very good. Very good. Yeah, I love that. That is fun. Yes, and so important to be able to diversify your areas, especially, one area gets hit with storms. California's had some storms this last year that we've never had before.
Hmm.
So definitely good to diversify your investments and not have everything in one location if you're doing property investing for sure. And then it's
Right.
nice to have residential as well as commercial investments. And I love to do the 1031 exchanges, and
There you
that's one of
go.
my. So yeah, so when you're ready for that, that's a fun way to grow over time. And I have my children are grown, and one thing that I'm teaching them is to buy and invest in properties
That's
to
so
grow.
smart.
They
That's so
have
good.
income. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's huge. And it's the best thing because they're learning how to create income. Yes, they have degrees, they've gone to school, they're doing their jobs now. And my daughter's just graduating psychology and already working in the field. But that
Awesome.
passive income is something, then if she wants to, stop and raise a family later or whatever it is, you have that income and you
Hmm.
can do that. So that is the key. It really makes a difference.
It's so true. And I talked to because I'm in the music industry as well. I've been producing for a lot of different artists that you might hear on the radio. And that's what I tell them as well, because a lot of these guys who come in and get
Mhm.
a nice advance from the record label, million, couple million, they get so excited. They're spending $30,000 on their lease per month,
Yeah.
and they haven't really learned money management or how to invest. And so
Mhm.
that's one of the things I always stress to my clients in the music industry is like, let's identify how you're going to take this money that you have and that you're going to be making through your music and make it work for you. So when
Yes.
you stop making music eventually, because that's what happens, you're popular, and then somebody else comes in and they take the stage. That's just how it rolls. So I like to really talk to my people in the music industry and like help them identify how they're going to make their wealth generational, you know.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, that way you just do what you love
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about it. It's always the passive income is always there. And talking about passive income, well, whether you're investing or creating your own business and want to pitch your business to investors, that's where our sponsor comes in. So I'd like to thank the sponsor of this episode. Are you a startup founder struggling to get your pitch deck noticed by investors? Do you spend endless hours tweaking and revising only to see lackluster results? It's time to take your pitch to the next level with How Good Is My Pitch Deck by Keen Angle. Keen and his team at Story Pitch Decks have helped raise hundreds of millions of dollars in early stage funding at a rate 40 times higher than the industry average. Investors are looking for promising startups that are well prepared and have a compelling pitch. With Keen's proven strategies and actionable frameworks, you'll learn how to evaluate how compelling your startup's story is, mitigate your pitch's biggest weaknesses, ideally position your startup within any industry, and much more. You'll also gain a deeper understanding of what investors are looking for and how to effectively communicate your unique value proposition. Plus, this book includes a free digital companion kit with full-length example pitch decks and cheat sheets. Head to Amazon and search for How Good Is My Pitch Deck to get your copy today. If you're just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac. I'd like to thank the listeners as well as those at KCAA station for helping this show continue. What does financial freedom look like for you?
Financial freedom to enjoy our lives, to enjoy our family, to enjoy our friends, to make great connections like we're making, and just to, not always be working from paycheck to paycheck. That's stressful. And I think people like us, we've through blessing and through educating ourselves and our experiences, we know that, and we want to help other people because it really is a state of mind and a knowledge base. And anybody can do it. You just have to have the right people around you and the right information. I recommend everybody read your book. I'm sure that, you give a lot of tips in there about how people are going to be able to reach financial freedom despite their circumstances.
Yes. In fact, that's the best time to reorganize is when you're going through a tough situation or you're kind of reinventing a time in your life. Like you had a whole shift from the Midwest to India and now to California. And so every time you have that change, it's like the foundation. You get to do a new foundation and it's all on your terms. How do you want to design your life to live the life that you want? And happiness, everybody has a different definition of what happiness is. So, and love is huge, right? Love is, you could think the whole world could be falling apart and you're in love, you're like, what's going on? I'm in love. I'm happy. I'm having a blast,
Exactly.
That's so important, but it's all connected. If you're struggling to make ends meet, you don't even have time to meet people. You know what I mean? So, and when you're in love, you don't even care if you're struggling. You're like, okay, cool. We're struggling right now, but we're in love. So
yeah, exactly. It's such a high. Exactly.
Yes.
That's so true. Also, people who work the 9 to 5, right? I think the real deep psychological thing, your daughter is in psychology. Maybe she could reflect on this also sometime, but it's because they have a certain fear of taking risk. They're not happy because they're really just getting by, but they're afraid that if they do something else, that sense of small security is going to be pulled out from under them. But the truth is, it's only through taking risk for what you believe in and believing in yourself enough to invest in yourself, that you're going to be able to step out of that endless vicious cycle of just getting by. And you know what the truth is, when you put yourself at risk, it's not that just the red carpet is going to roll out and you're going to just get it all. No, you're going to be at the edge of the cliff. And that being at the edge is the thing that gives you the energy and the light and the drive to succeed. So you almost have to put yourself into a situation that scares you in order to achieve your goals.
So true.
Right?
So true. Out of that
comfort experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I too traveled 7 years full straight out, full time. I went with the Tony Robbins group and had a blast.
Oh,
and
wow.
I brought my youngest 2 kids with me, and we did go to India. We went to, it's now Ecom. It was One World Academy and Oneness. So Chennai was the one I went to. And so I stayed there and got to study with the monks. And so it was an incredible experience to be able to bring my kids and do that. And I think there's something about, I look back now and I think I'm so glad I did lose my youngest son. He had a heart condition, and people that listen to the show know about that. That was hard. But I thought, you know what? I knew when he was in 5th grade, I knew he had this issue and he was safe to travel. I pulled my youngest 2 out of school and we did studying online, and we traveled the world and had a blast.
Wow.
I am so grateful. We had family time, we had quality time, and we got to learn from the masters in the world, the monks and the Tony Robbins, all these incredible people, and it was worth it. And you know what really funded my trips? Passive income from real estate.
Boom.
So
Exactly. Same here.
that's it. Yeah.
Same here. I would have never been able to live in
No
India
way.
for 5 years without that.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
exactly. Exactly. So that is it. And you can start small. You can start where you're at, even if you are working. You might love your job, but to be able to start and plan to slowly invest one step at a time, you're going to create a beautiful retirement nest egg so you can travel and you can start traveling even sooner than you think once you
Mhm.
get it going. So definitely. Now, Cameron, where can people reach you? How can they connect with you?
They can call me, they can email me, they can check out my Instagram. My Instagram for real estate is at LA Estate Guru.
All right.
And I do a lot of amazing posts of luxurious properties, some properties around the world also. I give tips to buyers and sellers about making the right decisions, and I'm always available. I have my contact there, my phone number is there. You can call me any time of the day. I mean, unless I'm asleep, then I'll take a message. But
Right.
I'm always available. I'm passionate about what I do. You know, I'm also in the music industry, and but that's a different topic. So I'll stay with the fact that you can reach me anytime for real estate. And I would say that what sets me apart or what is unique about me or what I bring to the table is I love people, and I really am doing it because, and I think you also are like this, that you want to help, and I want to
Yeah.
help people. I want to help people. You know, I'll tell you a quick story about one of the first real estate deals I ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I would post a lot of my listings on Facebook just so to try to get interested buyers. And I noticed this one guy, he would always message on Facebook and he would say, "Oh, beautiful home, but I wish I'll never be able to afford it," or "Oh, great, but you know, not for me. I don't have the ability to get a loan." Stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly, but stuff like, "I
Right.
love it, but I could never do it." So I messaged him. I said, "Give me a call, man. I want to talk to you." He called
Mm.
me. He said, "Man, no, I can't get approved. I've been to a bunch of lenders. They don't want to approve me." I said, "Come to my office. I want to meet you."
Right.
Came to my office. The guy just got out of the heart surgery.
Mm.
He was he had delinquencies on his credit cards. His card payment was too high, but he had a strong employment history, and there was some positive stuff on his credit score. It wasn't impossible. So I worked with that guy for 3 months, 4 months, and we called the credit card company together. We told him he had just had a heart surgery. Because of that, they removed the delinquency based on
Mm-hmm.
his extenuous situation. The car loan also did the same thing, so it brought his car payment down. So now his
Yeah.
DTI was at a level that we could work with.
Right.
And you know, at the end, I had been working on a flip, and he bought the flip. I got both sides of the deal. The guy, he works at Denny's, which is a restaurant. You know, people
Right.
come in, so he would invite me to bring my agents in there. So
Oh.
I'd bring 13 people in there. He'd bring everybody food. He refused to charge us. And one
Oh.
day he told everybody, and he was tearing up. He said, "The reason I'm doing this is because when nobody else would take me seriously, this
Mm.
man went out of his way to help me. And
Mm-hmm.
he gave my dignity back to me. He
Nice.
made me, in front of my family's eyes, feel like a real man that could produce and provide for them and own my own home. And for
Mm-hmm.
that, I'll always appreciate him." And it really opened my heart and made me fall in love with real estate even more, because I
Right.
really saw that I was helping people. And he has referred me, I think, 3 or 4 clients at this point.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, that's really what I want to, talk to people about who would reach out to me. Like, that's the kind of person that I am, and that's why I do what I
Mhm.
do.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And then at the end of the day, you sleep well and you know you've made a difference.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
what it's all about. Me too. I just have fun with it and make sure to help people get into something that really fits them, that's right for them, uh,
Hmm.
and is the right value for them. So,
Right.
or return on investment is really important to me rather than making a sale. Making a sale is the last thing on my mind. It's about the people, and if it's going to bless them and help them in their life. So that
Amen.
makes
Yeah, totally.
sense. Yes, yes. All right. Well, it was wonderful to have you as a guest on the show. I do have a last question I always ask guests, and
Come
that
on.
is, if you could go back in time to perhaps 10 or 12 years old, you, what advice would you give yourself?
Keep calm and carry on.
Nice. That's a good one. That's
It
right.
always works out, even when it seems like there's no way. Universe or whatever you want to call it, it's abundant. Just trust. Keep calm
Exactly.
and carry on.
Beautiful. I love that. And again, what is your Instagram then where people can connect with you, Cameron?
At LA Estate Guru.
At LA Estate Guru. Okay. All right. Well, I will reach out to you there as well.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you again for being a guest on the show. And for those tuning in, we'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned. All right.
Bye.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today I have some fun things to talk to you about. Our discussion continues with how to invest in properties for a profit. And so that is something I started actually doing when I was 18 and a half years young. I bought my first triplex, and I ended up having gift stores. My first store I rented, and then I started buying the other store, retail store, commercial buildings. And all the other store owners in the shopping park wanted to know how in the heck I'm doing this. So I got my license eventually and started teaching other people how to invest in their buildings or also in residential properties in order to create passive income. So that's how I started, and now I have children that are older than I was back then. So we won't get into my age, but I have some experience, and there's a lot to going into how to make passive income through property investment. If you're starting out your journey, you may have a successful career as an entrepreneur, and property investment investing is a whole nother job. So, if you are starting your journey and you want to retire on a solid foundation of passive income investments, including properties, you may be feeling overwhelmed or concerned. You may have heard promises that are too good to be true, like zero down or no work strategies, which sound good in theory but do not pan out. So, in this episode, I wanted to take some time out and explore the steps involved in property investment, including funding your investment, deciding how to best structure your purchase, finding a qualified real estate professional, choosing your area to buy in, checking prior market trends, and negotiating your buy. We will also discuss whether you need to do rehabilitation on your property, upgrades, repairs, or if it's turnkey, and how to best find and keep tenants or service a vacation rental cost effectively and passively or semi passively. So these are all super important things. And when you're starting out, you don't know what you don't know, and what you don't know can hurt you. So when you're buying your home, your dream home, your first home, that is a whole different animal than when you're purchasing property as an investment for a good return on your investment, for cash flow. So it's a whole different game. And you need to come into that purchase with the right mindset. And if you're not experienced, you could definitely lose your shirt. And and we don't want to go topless here, so that's something that's really important to be concerned about. In addition, we also cover insurance, taxes. These are all things you have to think about when you're buying your first property or building a property portfolio. You have to cover insurance, taxes, vacancy factors, maintenance, surprises. You'll learn how much you'll need to save for the rainy day when the roof leaks or the tenant's heater breaks down or the toilet overflows. We'll also explore the benefits of placing your properties in a trust or an LLC to add an additional layer of privacy and legal protection to your assets. Once you arrive at the positive cash flow place, then I can help you enjoy some of the newfound semi-passive income, how to reinvest and diversify in other savings plans for long-term success to actually truly create generational wealth. So, yes, I am a seasoned investor and licensed agent with 20 plus years of experience, and I like to take people by the hand and simplify the property investment process from your first home all the way to multiple streams of rental income. I like to focus on helping you have success in property investment and investing while also finding financial freedom and creating this generational wealth. Now, there are all these steps, and how do you pick out the right tenant? Um, how do you find the real estate agent that is going to work with you and really help you to get something that's income producing, that's going to work for your lifestyle and the type of passive income or semi-passive income that you want to create? And that's really important. Now, I do work with Keller Williams in Beverly Hills, and I also am working in the Las Vegas area. Many people are leaving California or buying second homes or vacation homes right now in that area. So I also work in that area, and I also have a course that I teach to real estate agents on how to invest in properties and create that passive income so that they're not worried about those commissions. So I have been teaching that course for many years now, and I have now broadened the course and created a special course for non-licensed everyday people. You might be a doctor, a business owner, an entrepreneur, a busy mom that has some success in career and wants to produce some passive income to spend more time with the family. And I can tell you it has blessed myself and my family investing properly in real estate over the years, being able to pay for colleges, vacations, travel, braces, all those things were possible thanks to property investment. And so that is something I do work with many agents and do a great referral with my clients. So when people do take my courses or work with me on a one-to-one basis on how to start preparing for and then investing in properties for cash flow and managing them, that is something that I do help also with finding the proper agents, like one of the agents we did get to interview today. So depending on your situation and what you're investing in, there is a right aligned agent that can work for you. So whenever you're in one of my courses or working with me individually one-on-one, then I also refer to other agents that I will work with to make sure that you are in good hands in the area that you are investing in. And it's really important because you want somebody that's going to be able to negotiate for you, that's going to understand the ins and outs of investing. Like I said before, home ownership, buying a home is not buying income property. Even if you're buying a home to rent out for income property, is a different animal, and you have to come into it with a different mindset. So, paying top dollar because it's turnkey and perfect is great if you're going to live there. And you might be buying for the area, maybe you want your kids to go to a certain school, or, you want to live in a certain place, you feel safe. That's great. But then when you're buying investment properties, you're not coming from I'm going to live here. You're coming from it, although you may live there and rent out other units to start, which is a great way to start. But you also want to make sure that you're negotiating and you're thinking about all these numbers and the bottom line. You're thinking about property tax, insurance, vacancy factors, possible legal fees, legal shielding. Do you need to put your properties in a trust, in an LLC? All these different factors come in, and so I walk people through the steps depending on where they are. I have a step-by-step from scratch, starting out all the way through to, you might be somebody that's doing the monopoly type thing where you have a few properties and you want to do a 1031 exchange into a larger property. So that's like the 5 houses, and you trade it in for the hotel in monopoly. And I have specialized in that for about, 26 years now, and have done personally I've done about 23 of my own personal 1031 exchanges where it was my properties. And then I've helped many other people with that, and that is a whole nother animal, and something that I can talk about on another episode, because that is a little bit more technical and you're on a time crunch. It's really fun if you know what you're doing, and you could lose your shirt or have to pay a lot of capital gains tax if you're not working with the right agent or you don't know what you're doing. So it really makes sense to work with a coach like myself and agent who can help you through these details to ensure that you have the most possible success. So I have created a low-cost course. It is called Property for Profits, and this is where I share as a host and presenter about property investments from both an investor standpoint, because I've been an investor for many years, and also as an agent. The course focuses on helping you have success in property investment and investing, while also finding financial freedom and creating generational wealth. So tune into this episode each day to learn more, but also you can learn more about this new course that is now available to anybody that's looking to get ready to invest. Before, I was only teaching the course to real estate agents. So if you are a licensed agent, I have a special separate course for you. However, if you are just looking to get started in investing and want somebody to take you by the hand and get you through all the steps and make sure that you are doing every due diligence and thing you need to do to protect your assets and help them grow, then go over to my website, and that is SheilaMac.com, SheilaMac.com, and there you can see and join the next course. All right, and now back to more about creating abundance in all areas of your business and personal life. Thank you for joining us on NBC's Sheila Mac Show, where we feature real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. Don't forget to catch all of our past episodes available on my YouTube channel at Sheila Mac Show, as well as on KCAA Radio and all major podcasting channels. And before we go, be sure to visit SheilaMac.com to claim your free gift from Me, Myself, and I.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. President Biden will meet with congressional leaders tomorrow about the debt ceiling. The U.S. could be unable to pay